Today, the Parliament of the Republic of South Africa will debate the 8th motion of no confidence against President Jacob Zuma. The EFF, together with the DA, IFP, COPE, as well as other opposition parties, are calling on ministers of parliament to vote Zuma out in the motion of no confidence, while the regional ANC will march in support of the president. Cape Town will be the focal point of protesters today, as thousands will be taking to the streets for multiple marches. But it doesn't seem that only Cape Town is the centre, because there are marches planned around the whole of South Africa, and we've already seen that protest action spilling onto the streets here in Gauteng, Ekurhuleni, Tshwane. That's the reports that we're getting in now, and I'm sure in other centres of South Africa as well. Well, this morning we've got our political analysts that have been with us at the news desk trying to make some sense out of this all for us. Professor Susan Booysen from the Wits School of Governance. We've also got Professor Sipho Seepe. Good to have you both staying with us, and thanks so much for your time, because I'm sure it's a busy day for you. Lots of analysis, people wanting as much expert opinion as they possibly can, because this is uncharted waters for us as people and for parliamentarians. It's a very different way of doing things. Professor Booysen, I just want to start with you again. Just before the news, I put you on the spot and I said, is this going to be a successful vote of no confidence or not? Your response to me was, you don't think it'll be successful. Elaborate a bit for us.
Yes, indeed. You know, on one hand, it is in Parliament and the immediate issue of the day. On the bigger picture, the ANC really cannot win in this situation. They can win that vote and keep their president by defending the president, who has really become indefensible in so many respects. Obviously not the only problem in ANC, but a huge part of the problem. By defending him, they're putting themselves on the spot. They're really compromising themselves. It is not about regime change. And if the ANC is pushed into an election, unlikely, but if they are, it is possible that they could still just come out with a winning situation, but with a big campaign, of course. But so it is not so. It's not immediately about that. And it's putting the people who will be defending, who will be actually voting in favour of the president, in a very bad spot. Imagine a person like Cyril Ramaphosa in his campaign, other potential presidential candidates coming out, and they have to defend afterwards exactly why they had not asked it the president when they had a good chance to remain in power, had not asked it the president at that point. They would be put on the spot and have to defend more and more in a time where there is a huge popular upwelling of sentiment against the president, indefensible. The part of the ANC would like to prove that there is an ANC beyond the Zuma's ANC. But that becomes more difficult the longer they persist in these types of voting endorsement votes. So that is the ANC really puts it in a very difficult position. It's really the end of the ANC as untouchables. That is what we see unfolding around us.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the ANC shortly after the announcement putting out a statement, and it basically read saying that the party has full confidence in its members to toe the party line. And that's the reality, because everybody is talking about putting South Africa first. Everybody's saying, vote with your conscience. Is politics that simple, though?
It is not.
Should be, but
unfortunately it's not. Remember that the ANC has an experience of removing a president, and that led to COPE. And what Montashe has been trying to remind people is that you have a president who still enjoys a lot of support. I mean, it is within the party. I mean, if you take a number of provinces, I mean, you have a full KwaZulu-Natal, you have Northwest, you have the Free State, you have certain areas, and those people are behind the president. So when Thabo Mbeki was removed, the Malemas who were then leading the Youth League had mobilized forces in almost every province, and yet you also saw a new party being formed as a result of that. So the Montashe's and the ANC's argument, and some of them, is that to say the president of the ANC's term is coming to an end. Why do you want to destroy the organization right now? I think they'll be much more bolder after when he's no longer the president of the ANC, because they'll be saying, maybe it's time for you to move and give us space so that we can start rehabilitating ourselves in the in the people's eyes. So that I think that seems to be more the thinking within the ANC.
Yeah.
Hence,
isn't it too late though? I mean, they've had so many.
No,
opportunities.
actually, if you look at the numbers that you see, at least the visuals, they actually suggest that there has been a disconnect of the ANC with the people. And I mean, the whole notion of a shutdown, for me, I don't understand why anybody in the ANC think they could control it or support us. Because to a shutdown, you don't need a lot of people. You just need to create an inconvenience around the streets. I mean, I've seen small numbers that disturb the whole community. So that shutdown can be easy. But what we should also be asking is really, how do we express our protest without distraction that comes with it? Because we cannot celebrate the distraction, the stoning, the barricading that is actually taking place, because that is not our sense of a protest. We would like to see people going out there marching, but peacefully. And I don't think when they are out there, I mean, when you look at the visuals in Cape Town, people can see that there is a group of people who are dissatisfied. But going back to your question, that the things are not as simple as that. And you also raised the issue of loyalty. Yeah. And Susan had also raised the issue, actually she put it as the Zuma's NEC. And the Zuma's members of parliament, but I would not go that far. But I do think that because of the power, the power relations within, it has not been easy for the NEC to take a position that they took easily with Mbeki.
You know, it's 8:30 here on the program. I think, Palesa, I think we're going to get the news headline. Let's quickly get the news headlines from Palesa. And then I want to come back and ask you about the opposition parties and the views. In fact, yesterday, Julius Malema, the EFF commander-in-chief, was so confident that this was going to go in their favour that he's already calling the speaker, Baleka Mbete, the acting president. So he's very confident, and I want to see where this confidence is coming from. Do stay tuned. Analysis will continue. But at this point, Palesa, the roads around Gauteng